I was halfway to the desk when I heard the loud click. I knew at once that he had locked the front door. A few seconds later, he returned, walking briskly, still smiling. He was rubbing his pudgy white hands together as he walked. "Shall we talk about your book?" he asked, stepping up to me. "Mr. Mortman, you locked the front door," I said, swallowing hard. His smile didn't fade. His dark little eyes locked on mine. "Yes, of course," he said softly, studying my face. His hands were still clasped together in front of him. But why?" I stammered. He brought his face close to mine and his smile faded. "I know why you were at my house last night," he growled into my ear. "I know everything." "But Mr. Mortman, I'm sorry," he said in his throaty growl, "but I can't let you leave, Lucy. I can't let you leave the library."
You can't scare me, not with the basement of botany. Maybe a sentient dummy, calling all creeps.
Boo dudes!
Hey.
Welcome to Calling All Creeps. I'm Matt, here with my co-host Dave.
And we got a special guest today.
We have a very special guest, our first guest, inaugural guest on Calling All Creeps.
It's super exciting for multiple reasons.
Yes, and we'll get into that. But let's introduce her, our lovely friend Jackie Hincapi.
Hi, everyone.
Jackie, thank you for taking the time to be here.
Of course, I am so excited.
Can you tell us what it is that you do?
I can.
And then also, let's reverse it. Let's start with, what is your relationship with Goosebumps, if any? Mm-hmm. How do you feel about the series? Did it come up in your childhood, etc.? Mm-hmm. And then a little bit about what you're currently up to.
Okay.
As an adult.
Adult.
And how that relates to Goosebumps.
Okay.
In a very adult way.
Not too adult, though.
Just adult enough.
Yeah.
I haven't read a Goosebumps book since I was probably in elementary school. But it was definitely one of like the book series that I read that was like formative during my childhood years. I just remember like I have a very like visceral memory of like going to my elementary school library, the school library, and there's just like it was right in the middle of the library, the whole shelf with all the Goosebumps books. It was right next to like Boxcar Children, so I remember that.
And you feel like an excitement when you see that a little bit.
Yeah. And I just like I think it's cool that they're still coming out. And people are still reading them.
Still relevant. Maybe more relevant, or just as relevant as when they first hit the scene, because that was big. But then now there are the movies and the resurgence of the series.
Right.
And like they say, the kitchen table is the heart of the home.
Yeah.
And the Goosebumps section is the heart of every library.
That's right. And I know this for a fact.
How?
Because I'm a children's librarian.
That's right.
Perfect.
Wow. You're wondering.
Now, first of all,
you need to go. This is why we didn't get Ryan Gosling, because we were like, who gives a shit?
We'd rather have Jackie, frankly.
Yeah, because we have a child's librarian.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
Wow.
Now, these are books, first of all. Mm-hmm. But then also...
very astute, yeah.
Thank you. I do have an advanced degree.
I only have a literature minor, so...
Yeah, that's right. Sit down, Dave.
Over my
He was
head.
standing up. For the listeners, he was shaking his fist at me and standing up. But second of all, today our book is number 8 in the series.
Number 8.
Girl Who Cried Monster. Which is about a librarian.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jackie, you can shed a lot of light on this subject.
I mean, I can tell you right, like off the bat, totally accurate.
I knew it.
Totally.
In that all librarians become monsters?
Yeah,
okay.
Basically.
Okay.
Got it.
I was going to the angle, if this librarian wasn't a monster, he was a pedophile. So I was rooting for him to be a monster the whole time, so I'm glad you said you're a monster.
Yeah.
Because I would have to call the police.
Yeah, well, you don't have to call the police.
You're already taking a seat. We'd have to do that MSNBC.
Oh, yeah,
Like
right.
to take a
Sit
seat.
down. Oh, I just brought these Mike's Hard Lemonades for me. I was going to drink 6 of them.
I was on the way to Scholastic Book Fair, I swear.
This isn't my house? Good. So... let's talk about, I want to talk about the differences that you saw. I mean, we're going to talk about this as the episode progresses.
Yeah.
But did any of reading this book just generally, did any of this like not resonate with you, but like, I don't know, but did it seem like familiar territory? Like were the descriptions of the library like someone who's never stepped in outside of like someone with a casual knowledge of libraries or?
Yeah. No, I honestly think that it was pretty accurate. I think most of the libraries that you're going to walk into at this point are still like really old buildings and they're kind of creepy.
Yeah.
And donated. I think that was cool too. It's a donated building.
Yeah.
Everything there just kind of seemed the town had it, but even in the 90s, it's like the libraries kind of, you know, they it's all generous donations.
I like that it was an older building with, I think there's character there.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in a town where the library was part of the municipal building.
Yeah.
And currently the town where I live, there is an old library in town, which is now like nothing, I don't think, but it was like an old, like from the 1700s. Like it used to be a bar in the Revolutionary War.
Right.
And then it became the town's library. And now it's supposed to be haunted, of course.
I was immediately when you said that, I was like, if I want to hang with any ghost, it's like, you said Revolutionary War?
Yeah. So like
Revolutionary War
1700s.
Bar ghosts?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god, those are the coolest.
It's very
like,
cool.
Probably still drunk, like
Yeah. And like deaths in there, of course. And there's like some woman named like fucking Susan who is in there and haunts the, you know,
Susan B.
non-stacked.
Anthony, obviously.
Yeah, it's Susan B. Anthony. It's Susan Sarandon. Still alive.
Yeah, there's that one guy who everyone hates. He like real smells because he's like, I shook George Washington's hand. I'll never wash this hand again.
Well, and I've said this before on the podcast, the road in front of the library is the route that George Washington took to go through the Delaware. But now it moved directly behind that building to, it's a new building. It is a municipality. It's like a brand new. So it's fine, but there's no character there. There's no like, the buildings in this book or the library in this book is draped in blue and black, and it is creepy, and there's ivy or something. Am I making that up?
Yeah. Do you remember that?
I remember trees.
There were trees and stuff out front.
I'm going to say ivy. I'm just going to take this liberty.
Yeah. There's ivy at my library, so.
Yeah, so is your library an older building, or is it a new? Okay.
I think it was, I mean, not as old as like Revolutionary times, but I want to say it was like 1860s.
Cool.
Yeah.
Does it look like a house, or is it bigger?
No, it's a bigger building. It's right next to the municipal building in the town that I work in. They're going to renovate it soon, but I still think it's going to like retain the character of the building. Yeah. It's just going to like look better.
There's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
To renovate an old brick building, something like that. It's more like restoration.
Because they had the choice between like just building just taking it down and building a brand new building, but they chose to just renovate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also like, I don't know. It's like chic to expose the brick and like the piping and stuff. It's like, I feel like every Urban Outfitters now is like an old building that's been demolished, but they just like put a wood sculpture like that hangs from the ceiling. They paid someone $5,000 to do that. And it looks great.
Yeah.
Hang up some Christmas lights or whatever the fuck. But that's cool. What was I going to say? Dave, what was I going to say?
You're talking about books. Well, something funny. So with books, and I was thinking about old architecture, old settings, and the way that libraries still exist, and it's a fight.
Yeah.
And that things change so quickly when it comes to media. Coming from someone who works at a comic book shop where that's like media where... so Stanley, who recently passed, had the best way to say this. He was talking about... they asked him if comics were going to die because they're going online. And he said, you know what? Comics are a lot like boobs.
I'm listening.
And
He just stopped there.
no, he stopped. Yeah, then he died.
All right.
He said, great to look at online, but much better in your hand.
Did you really say this?
Swear to God, he said that.
God.
Wow.
And it's true. And I think a lot of things now are digital, but magazines, some people pick them up. Newspapers, hit or miss. But when it comes to like a library, books. I mean, Amazon's taking over and killing these bookstores, but there's still a supplier of books.
Yeah.
The Kindle, how many times do you see somebody reading on a Kindle realistically?
Not at all, really.
Yeah.
I'm watching an anime right now because I am a virgin, apparently. And it's very good. It's a Gundam. I think it takes place in the future, and there's a very rich family. And one of the big deals is that they have books. They have paper books, and they're looked at like Fabergé eggs. Yeah. Like, oh, you have paper books still from like before the wars and everything. And I think about that now where if you go to certain bookstores nearby or certain libraries, they'll have these old bound editions that just of first edition crazy classic books that are important to history.
Yeah. But then that's the other thing. Like, who do you know? Just like, who do you know that reads from a Kindle? No one. I don't know anyone who goes to a library. And
Jackie. I know Jackie.
Right.
I go to the library.
But this is the tragedy where this is like one of the best in a time when, let's get political for a second. I feel like we need like better and maybe more social programs. A library is one of the best social programs we have.
What's funny is I was reading, because I don't think I've noticed, like, especially people our age, like the millennials. Yeah. Like, I don't think I've noticed a huge number of people our age going to the library that I work in. But, like, reading articles and stuff, I hear that we're taking advantage, like, our generation is taking advantage of libraries even more than in the past. So I think it's, like, interesting. I just don't know if I see that in practice, actually.
Yeah. So, funny story. So, Eric Dolan, friend of the podcast,
we're
going to have on. He picked 2 different books that he was going to read, and he picked both of them up from his public library to read. Yep. Tom Juba, one of my buddies, Zap Boy, he went to NYU. He used their library constantly. Yeah. And everything that he read, everything down from like classic graphic novels and different things, Contract with God, all this stuff. Like, or you can get R. Crumb stuff there, like everything. It's crazy, And it's still important.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, if you are blessed to like live next to like the New York Public Library or like one of the bigger libraries, even like a library, a small one like mine, there are things like an interlibrary loan, so you can. If the library itself doesn't have what you're looking for, like, they can actually get it for you, and it's free.
Right. And it takes probably like a few days.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's crazy. But if you go to the New York Public Library, you do have to look out for Slimer, though, right?
Yes. I mean, that's
the biggest problem.
That's like the one con. But
And if you're, what's the guy's name in that movie who gets a blowjob from a ghost?
Ray?
Yeah. But what's his real life name?
Dan Aykroyd?
Dan Aykroyd. If you're Dan Aykroyd, you might get filleted when you walk in the library.
That could be like, that's actually a good thing.
That's a perk.
Which leads me to a great segue to the time I was kicked out of a library in high school. But we'll not get into that.
Oh, I think we have to now.
Actually, my library, funny thing is that my mother worked as a teacher, and the town library was right next to my high school, and walking home sometimes is just not an option. It was like well over. It's a mile as the crow flies, but it's going to be like a 45-minute walk. Right. And there's no sidewalks at certain points. So I would hang out there and I would take stuff out, but they had CDs. And some bands that I listen to now that I love, it was because somebody donated their son's old CDs. That's cool. So I remember I got into Led Zeppelin because How the West was one. The 3 CD
the live
set. The live one was there. I would bring them home, burn them, and I would just listen to them straight through. That's how I got into Devo. All the Devo CDs were there, and I started listening to them. I remember I had mono and I was sick, and I went and took out. They had the entirety of Ren and Stimpy.
Wow.
Watched all of that. I used to get movies from there. Like,
is this how you got kicked out of the library?
Just consuming too much media?
When you listen to the segue, it'll make more sense. But the quiet room should be quiet.
Yes.
Stay in your own stalls.
That's an interesting thing. Are people quiet at your library? Do they have to be quiet? Do you go over and bust them when they're not quiet?
So that's like the new thing with like children's librarianship, I guess. Like, we're like the fun place to be. So I never shush anyone. I'm
awesome.
I
Realistic
don't shush anyone.
Expectations for kids.
We have here, kids.
We have so many programs and stuff for the kids, and like they're screaming and they're running around, and that is okay and welcome.
Yeah. They're kids. Mm-hmm. Do you have guests at your library, like guest speakers, authors, stuff like that?
Yeah. We've done it a couple times. I want to do it more for sure, and I know a lot of like authors will do like virtual visits and stuff like that.
That's cool.
Yeah, so
Just
I'm working
Skyping.
on that. Yep.
RL, I know you're listening.
Yep.
Here's the deal.
I got his info.
Call Jackie. Jackie will call you.
Yeah.
And we'll make it happen. You could Skype in. It'll be great.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Speaking of which, I know you got a little info for us. So what we do with this book is we go in, we talk about when it came out. So this one, weirdly enough, also May of 1993, the same as the last episode.
Okay.
And I was like, must be wrong.
Has this happened to us before? Wasn't the first two were...
They came out, so they have the same release date.
Yeah.
So I figure normally that would suck, but I mean, we got Jackie here, so we have so much to learn. So that's fine. We didn't need to dig back into the same 90s that we had. Whatever.
Yeah.
So you got us some information. So also you're elite hacksaw.
Yes.
And you went deep into the archives of the library. And what did you bring for us?
So I pulled up a circulation report for our Goosebumps books to find out what are the most checked out books in this series at my library.
Do you want to guess number one?
The most checked out Goosebump book?
Yeah.
I mean, Night of the Living Dummy.
Yep. Oh, wait, sorry. No.
Haunted Mask.
Mine was going to be the Haunted Halloween novelization. That's my guess.
Not even on the list.
Yes! That was me being cynical. We did it, guys.
Yes. What's this, like...
You were close.
Oh, it's probably Night of the Living Dummy 2. 3? Revenge? Slappy's Revenge?
Revenge of the Living Dummy.
Revenge of the Living Dummy, Horrorland.
See, that's not really on my radar.
We talked about it the other day because it was when that book came out, that's when they decided to finally reprint a modern copy of Night of the Living Dummy.
And that probably helps because what I'm seeing from the data, a lot of the books were recently added. So I'm wondering if they just, before my time, like added new editions of the books that kind of like increase circulation.
So let's do top 10.
Okay.
Top 10.
Should I start with the last one?
Yeah, let's go down up. We already know number 1.
Okay.
So it's not, but we'll get up there.
So number 10 is Night of the Living Dummy.
All right. My favorite so far.
And that one has a total checkout of 34.
Not bad.
Okay.
And this is for 2018?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
cool.
that's pretty decent.
It is.
Number 2. I'm sorry, 9. Calling All Creeps.
Yeah!
Titular.
All right.
book.
If that one's hardcover, I'm going to steal it.
All right.
No. Get the
You
data.
can't say that like, on the podcast.
I didn't mean...
It's illegal.
I'll edit it out.
Edit it out, please.
I'm not going to edit it out.
Oh, wait. You guys call it checking it out? I call it stealing from
There
the
you
library.
go.
And then you return it like a hero.
Oh, see, it's just we have different phrases for different
Yeah,
things.
that's all. Number 8 is Welcome to Camp Slither.
Huh?
Camp Slither.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sounds like
That one was added
Sexual.
pretty recently. That
As an
was-
Islanders fan, is that some sort of John Tavares training camp for kids?
No.
Doesn't he have one of those?
I have no reference point for this, but I'm going to say, oh shit, Dave, you did it again.
We did it. Okay. Let's
Number 7 is The Werewolf of Fever Swamp.
Sure.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Nice. That's coming up in a little bit.
Yeah.
Number 6, is that where I am? Yeah. The Wizard of Ooze, which
That's what they call me in high school.
I don't think I ever read that one as a child, so
That's
maybe
a
it was
new one.
recent.
Yeah, that just sounds like the bad guy from Power Rangers movie.
Yeah,
Next.
right.
Yes, it does.
Then we have Say Cheese and Die Screaming.
That's the third one.
That's fucked up. You know what that reminds me of? Because I know that book exists, and every time I hear it, I think of John Wick when he's in the warehouse and the guy. So there's the kid who killed his dog. Let's get into this. There's a kid who killed his dog, and then there's his father. I forget his name.
Right.
He's great though. He does a
Dad.
great job. His name's Dad. And so Dad is like threatening John Wick. John Wick is like bound to the chair, and then he says like John Wick says like, "Let me go. I'll give you an option, whatever." And the second option is like, "Or you can die screaming alongside him." And I just think of it every time. Anyway,
See,
continue.
It's funny. I think of Goosebumps and I think of John Wick because the dog dies.
Oh yes,
Because R.L. Stein hates animals.
pets treated like shit, famously.
This one though,
No pets.
No pets. So we're
Thank
okay.
God, because I wouldn't.
Well,
Actually, never mind.
It's maybe the
I
worst
just forgot
one.
about the aquarium.
Oh,
and his
yeah.
house and the aquarium that he has at the
Yeah.
library. Never
Sorry,
mind.
reptiles.
I take that back. Amphibians.
Amphibians.
I guess if they're not furry, I don't care.
You hear that, you
Some
fucking
people
amphibians?
say that in the gay community.
If you're not a bear, I do not care.
Next we have This Scream of the Haunted Mask.
Scream- more
that's
screams.
After the most wanted. Is that the most wanted? Most wanted Scream of the Haunted Mask?
I don't know actually.
That's when they started bringing everything back.
Should I do my John Wick scream again?
Right.
The next one is Danger Time, which
That's made up.
I don't
Did you write this one
remember.
and you just want us all to read it?
Danger time.
Jackie Hincapie in Orlstein's fashion. Danger time.
Danger time.
Like, that doesn't sound real, but all right.
I hope it's like Arlstein's version of The Purge. Where it's like, everyone lock your doors, it's danger time.
It had 39 checkouts, so
Okay. People like Danger Time.
It probably has a dope cover.
Was that
Yeah.
the name of the last My Chemical Romance record?
You know
Danger
what?
Time?
That could have been
Dangerous
yeah.
Danger Days or whatever the fuck that was.
And then number 2 was Night of the Living Dummy 2.
Oh, how appropriate.
Yeah. That one had 44 checkouts.
Okay.
And of course, number 1, Revenge of the Living Dummy with 51 checkouts.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is strange. So people are reading the second Night of the Living Dummy before the first one?
Well, maybe they read it last year and they're working their way up.
That could be it, yeah.
Oh, Danger Time is a cover of an angry clock, and I know why. It's a choose your own adventure.
It looks like
That looks
the
like
Penguin.
Majora's Mask.
It does. It looks like the moon. But it's a give yourself goosebumps.
I'm
So-
like immediately scared because
it's
that game scared the crap out of me.
Oh, right. It's supposed to be very spooky.
Yeah.
I didn't play Majora's Mask.
My anxiety as a kid was just through the roof with that game.
Yeah,
But
for
give
sure.
yourself goosebumps depending on how many choose your own adventure books you have. If that's the only one you have, people are gonna flock to it.
Yeah.
Those are fun.
That's probably it.
Full Bandersnatch. All right. Speaking of snatches, let's talk.
Let's talk time and place, baby.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, we don't have a time and place, but let me talk about the book a little bit. Inspiration. So this is A Girl Who Cried Monster, May of 1993. It is the same as last episode, same time. Listen to the one before if you want to learn more.
Yeah.
We had a nice little intro here, great library conversation, so
Yeah.
you're welcome. Of course, the title is originated from Boy Who Cried Wolf.
Yeah.
Right.
Classic tale. I don't think that's a Grimm's fairy tale or anything. I feel like it's just some like bullshit.
But it's on par with that.
It
It's
is.
so ingrained.
Right.
It's there.
Yeah.
It's a big cultural touchstone.
Funny thing is that we are all reading original books because this book has not been reprinted
Yes.
since 2005. Amazingly enough, Jackie showed up and just slapped her I was going to say BDE, but I'm just going to say her giant fucking schlong on the table. Do you hear that? Hold up the microphone.
Ah, some good Foley work.
Jackie has a library edition hard-covered Girl Who Cried Monster.
Listeners, I'm not going to lie to you. It's fucking incredible.
It's just beautiful. So I'm on the Goosebumps Reddit all the time. Never seen anything like this. Immediately I went on eBay. Only one or other of these exist of any book, and I bought it.
Yeah.
Because I needed to
It's
have
so impressive.
it. It's beautiful.
It's just like the books that we have, except it's hardcover.
It's incredible.
It's so good.
But in 2005, they reprinted. That's the one that has like the bright blue border.
Right.
And they actually edited and changed the book. And you may think this is cool as a librarian. So, do you know the point where Lucy, our character, is hiding by the microfiche?
Right.
They switched all of that to be the computer section.
Are
In the
you
reprints.
kidding me? As I was reading that, I was like, I don't know if this is kind of dated at this point. So your version says
Not our versions; these are the same. But in
Okay.
2005, the 2005 reprint has
Got it.
computer section instead of microfiche.
Right.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Your library doesn't have microfiche still.
We still do.
Oh, okay.
Actually.
Oh, wow.
And I have seen it used twice in the 3 years that I've been there.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
But there's
which
no
is-
like overhead for it, right? It's just there. So,
exactly.
yeah.
We're not adding like new
Yeah.
fiches.
Fishes.
I just love seeing it.
Yeah, it's like you're saying fish with an accent.
Yeah, wherever you are right now, if you're a listener, just say it.
Yeah. What accent would that be to
Everyone's
say
looking at you on the subway now,
fishes?
you weirdo. And then there's one other thing that was from the original transcript, which I don't want to let enough of the plot go yet, so I'm gonna hold that one tight to my chest. But something was edited about Mr. Morton.
Oh, I read this as well.
So
yeah,
I'm intrigued.
Well, Jackie, you're gonna have to wait.
Okay.
Sorry to say.
All right, so now I think it's time that we adventure to the plot and our characters. Jackie, would you like to start?
Okay, I will start. Yeah, sure.
Pressure's on you, Jackie. Now you know how I feel every episode. So I'm like, well, I took 0 notes.
Or I can start. I got the notes.
No.
You want me to set the table and
Sure.
then you can go from there?
Yeah, let's do that.
So Lucy is a shit sister
Yeah.
who has ruined her brother. That's how I started.
And she has a cool ass last name.
She does. Her name is Lucy Dark.
Right. Star of Perfect Dark.
Yes. So I wrote that she's a scare champion and the worst sister. I wrote she's probably a ghost at the beginning because they talk about how pale she is with straight black hair.
Yeah.
And she's obsessed with monsters. She is just always...
She's monster crazy.
She's monster crazy. She's telling stories about monsters to all of her friends and her parents to the point where they're like, we're going to get you medical help because something's wrong.
Right.
She enjoys scaring her little brother who is so afraid of everything.
And is so small. He's
And
5,
tiny.
right? Is he 6, 5?
And he looks just like Lucy. His name is Randy Dark, which I write, great porn star name when he grows up.
12 more years.
Pale as well, chubby, and a scaredy cat. And one of my favorite details about him working in a comic shop, this hit home so well. So, page 2. No, it was page 4.
Stop lying, Dave.
Sorry. Randy has a big comic book collection, but they're all Disney comics and Archie comics because the superhero comics are too scary for him.
They are scary.
It's so funny. I just love that, like, he has Gold Key Disney where it's like, Donald Duck steals the gold. And, like, old Archie is just like, I'm going to the beach, but there's a strong guy. Which girl will I pick? And he's probably like, oh, Archie. And I thought that was really cute.
He needs some, like, just solace in his life because Lucy is constantly terrifying him.
So, Lucy, right off the bat, describes a monster to her brother and to Aaron, her friend, the toe biter.
The toe biter.
Yes.
Actually, I think she describes a tree monster to her friend.
To Aaron,
Yeah, the tree monster.
And then toe biter to
Randy.
Randy.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's right.
Toe biter, kind of awesome. It's
cool.
The story about the kids next door. They were in the pool, went outside, their toes looked down, just bloody and gone.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys, when you were kids, ever tell your friends like ghost stories to try to like scare them?
Yeah.
A la Lucy.
I don't think I ever did, actually.
No?
I feel like I was more like the Randy in this situation.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
I remember telling my friend, probably too old to do it too, but I just rehashed the story of one of the Goosebump books, Tale of the Barking Ghost or whatever it is. And we were just like on a bike ride and we were on this path that was like sort of in the woods. And I was like, here's the spot where the barking ghost will come and eat your face off. And I don't think he was buying it. He was like, what are you doing? But I was in many ways the Lucy in this situation.
I used to talk about how there was an old lady in a bad house down the street who had a one-eyed cat, and we said she was a witch.
Oh, yeah.
I was talking about that.
Yep.
Also, we used to camp through Boy Scouts growing up, we used to camp at the original Camp Crystal Lake, which is in upstate. It's like right on the border of like New York, New Jersey.
Yeah, that's cool.
And we used to have like the younger kids there as they got older, and we'd like run around in the middle of the night and like run up to because we're in the cabins from the movie and just bang on the windows and.
That's fun.
And
you have to. You're at Camp Crystal Lake.
You're at camp, and the coolest thing is that the guy at the quartermaster store, as I call it, he actually had one of the Camp Crystal Lake signs that they have there on the premise, so they bring it up.
Yeah.
And it is so awesome.
That's very cool.
Yeah. I just had like a memory like go into my brain right now.
That's what this podcast is all about.
That's what we do.
And I'm trying to look it up. There is a book that somehow made its way into my house as a child. It was like a giant yellow book, and I think it was just like a collection of like the most random things I could think of. It's like I remember there were puzzles in it and like mind games, but there were also ghost stories.
Whoa.
And I remember like a recipe for marzipan. in it.
This book is amazing.
Do you still have it?
I don't know. I have to go look for
We
it.
need to eat
But
this marzipan.
one of the ghost stories, like, I don't remember what it was about, but there was something about like a big hand coming down from a room, like a spectral hand.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so I feel like I need to find out what this book was because I remember being terrified of as a child.
It's a real hodgepodge.
Yeah.
But it's called Mage Hand, and I think it's a first level spell that any wizard bard can use.
I was gonna say, is this like a Smash Brothers hand, or you have to
yeah.
defeat it in six rounds?
Yeah, so that that just reminded me.
Yeah.
So Toebiter, and then scares the brother. Brother runs inside and gets in trouble.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, "Get the fuck out of my house. It's library time. You are a reading ranger. It's morphin time."
Reading
Right.
Rangers. Yeah, very cool name.
Really cool.
Yeah, so as a children's librarian, like,
Yes.
every summer we have a summer reading program at my library, and I was like, you know what, I could steal some ideas from this.
That's awesome.
Such as
I like the name, number one. Like, I feel like I am going to
Reading
be
Rangers?
using
the
that.
alliteration is
Yeah,
nice.
for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's cool, but also not realistic that every child in this town is going to this librarian and like giving them a book report.
Yeah, one-on-one, right?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
it's also kind of bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, "Did you read that entire book in a week?" And she's like, "I liked the description." And
He was like,
"You
yeah,
win."
cool.
Well,
Here's
yeah.
the star.
And it's you lower your expectations, right?
Right.
Because I can speak even to teaching 18-year-olds
Right.
that, I mean, some student, I mean, it's a mixed bag, right? And
Mm-hmm.
and I had great kids, and it's not to impugn any of them,
Right.
but there are different skill sets there, and sometimes you get something like, I liked the description, and you have to work with that.
Yeah.
Although in this case you don't. It's just about getting them to read.
Exactly.
Which is fine. And
Yeah.
and Lucy is honest, and I like the honesty here.
Yeah.
In that, like, probably a lot of these kids are not gonna get through the whole book.
Right.
Because they're kids.
And that's, as a librarian, that is something that we're like, we've accepted this.
Right.
But as long as they kind
start.
of like give it a try.
Give it a try. This is on your radar.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I just wanted to say real quick, Power Rangers debuted in 1993, so
I fucking loved Power Rangers.
me too.
I mean,
but
everybody did.
everyone.
Yeah, I'd run home from after school to watch it.
Okay, everyone say your favorite Power Ranger in the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Oh my
Zach.
God.
Pink. Oh, I
White.
remember her name.
White. What's his
Kimberly?
name?
Kimberly.
That's good.
Tommy.
Tommy, yeah. Funny thing is, I have a Power Ranger shot glasses that were
Oh.
given to me, and we actually all
green.
pick different ones.
Green/white.
And whoever you are, that's what we usually use. So it's a tradition.
Okay.
That's
It
cool.
was for
We
the
should
Power
use
Rangers
those
drinking
later.
game that we made.
Nice.
Yeah.
Me and an old friend.
But then now there's like that whole thing where like it's kind of racist because like the Yellow Ranger was
I know.
Was a dude.
Asian.
I felt
the
bad
Yellow
about
Ranger-
saying White Ranger just now.
Really?
I don't want to side with the White Ranger.
Yeah.
White Ranger's
History has
probably-
always sided with the White Ranger.
Do you know that the Yellow Ranger was actually a guy in all the things? He was like a chubby dude. He was the goofy one in the original show. So anytime that they have the Rangers in the original Japanese footage from Super Sentai, it's like a chubby dude.
That's cool.
That's
Really?
why, if you notice, the Pink Ranger always has a skirt because she was the only female character, but the Yellow
Right.
Ranger just doesn't.
I thought the Yellow Ranger was, what's her name? Trini?
Trini.
But that's what they did for this. But when they're in the suits, it's just the Japanese footage. They just filmed everything
I didn't know
with
that.
their heads. And also,
Ah.
Trini died in a car accident shortly after leaving.
Oh my
That's
God.
so fucked.
Yeah, it's really sad.
Very gendered too, right? The Pink Ranger
Yeah.
is female.
Also, I bumped into Rocky, the second Red Ranger at Comic Con.
Really?
I bumped it. I was like, hey, and people were like talking to him, signing. I'm like, isn't the other Red Ranger from the movie?
Hey, dude, I liked your flips.
I liked your flips were nuts, man. You were a monkey in the movie. This is crazy.
I think I identify most with Billy because he's a fucking nerd virgin,
Right, yeah.
and I also like the color blue.
His story's really sad too.
It's a real life story.
Yeah, really sad.
Uh-oh.
So he, of course, David Yost was gay and very religious. So his
Oh,
parents
no.
actually like forced him into one of those religious "we're gonna turn you straight" camps, and
Conversion
Yeah.
therapy.
yeah, and it was really bad, and he was like very depressed, and he talks about it and stuff. But then he came out, and now he's like a really positive role model for
Awesome.
people
Oh,
like
good.
transgender, gay,
Yeah.
anything like that. So he's a good,
Good.
guy. David Yost, man, he shows up at a lot of conventions. Also, another fun fact while we're on Power Rangers, the Black Ranger missing a finger. So
Like,
if you see in real life,
Oh.
missing a finger. So if you see him doing like it's the Morphin Time thing, and you look, one of the fingers of the suit is just like limp and gone.
Oh.
Was it from the Megazord? Did something happen?
No, I think it was a dance accident.
Oh shit! I knew it.
I dressed up as the Pink Ranger for Halloween, but it was like an off-brand. Like, it wasn't the real Power Ranger.
It was like the Pink Ragnar.
Yeah.
The Power Squad.
All right, so let's move.
Okay.
This is gonna be a long one. I like it. We're already
Strap in, guys.
We're 35 minutes in, and we have is that there's a girl.
Well, her name is Lucy Dark. Of
Her name is Lucy
Perfect
Dark. Lady Dark sucks. She gets sent. She goes to the library. We should just blow through the plot. Like she went to the library.
That's fine.
And then that's where you meet Mr. Morton.
Mr. Mortman.
Yeah. Who's a very sweaty, wet.
So wet. so wet.
Bald.
Like, he leaves puddles around him.
He's like the guy they turn into water in the first X-Men movie.
Yeah.
Like, the experiment didn't take, so you're going to turn into water slowly. And then he does. It reminded me of that. But he's like this bald, weird, wet man.
I mean, I could read his description.
Yes.
Or do you have his
Yes,
description?
that's perfect.
I think I might. Where am I reading from? The blue. Okay. The thing all of us kids hated the most about him was that his hands always seemed to be wet. He would smile at you with these beady little black eyes of his... Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I read that wrong. He would smile at you with those beady little black eyes of his lighting up on his plump, bald head. He would reach out and shake your hand, and his hand was always sopping in italics.
I hate the word sopping.
It's the worst.
Oh my god. And then on the next page, this is what I was like, I wrote no kidding, and this is the note. It says, he spoke in a high, scratchy voice, nearly always whispered. He wasn't a bad guy, really. He seemed to like kids. He wasn't mean or anything, and he really liked books.
Yeah. So Lucy has to go see Mr. Mortman and get like saturated every week or whatever.
Yeah.
How often is it? Is it every week?
I think it's every week.
She has to read a book every week?
Yeah.
Book every week.
And like, she makes a point to say that it wasn't like any book for fun, which that's like the one point that I was like, I don't know, like a modern day librarian is gonna be like, you read whatever you want to read, kid. Like, you don't have to read like the classics if that's not what you're into.
But she seems to like she just accepts recommendations from Mortman.
Right.
So she reads first Huckleberry Finn.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is that the one that has like
N-word
racial
Jim?
epithets? Yeah.
Yes.
It does.
Okay.
It was 1993, different world. Then the crazy thing is, I remember reading Frankenstein in like high school.
Yeah. How old is Lucy supposed to be? Do we know?
12? They're always 12.
They're always 12
always
or 13.
Okay.
But that's a big ass book to read in a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Huckleberry Finn is pretty big too. Yeah.
Right. And it's, that reading level, that's really a middle school reading level.
It is.
We have those in our young adult section, so that's like 13 and up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's like almost there, but still it's, it's a high bar to set.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Mary Shelley, friends of the pod.
Shelly Squad, hashtag Shelly Squad.
Hashtag Shelly Squad.
I remember there's an E after the LL.
What is she, a mother of science fiction? Is that the thing?
I'd let her birth me.
Yeah.
It's a great book. I love that. It's also Frankenstein became Universal Pictures made Frankenstein. Her Frankenstein. I feel like if she was watching that shit, she'd be like, "The fuck?" Like right now.
No, not what I meant.
Hers is very like, "What made the man? What is this?"
Right.
Like, yeah.
And the Hollywood one is like,
Yeah. She would love Evangelion. Going back to manga, she would love Evangelion. Eskimo Snow by Y.
Oh, sure.
And she'd probably be into Elliott Smith too. I think.
I would hope so.
Probably would be. So she says she just likes the description of the book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The good catch-all.
Yeah, and she's leaving, and she's like, why do my feet have so much friction on the ground? Oh, left my goddamn rollerblades back there.
Yeah.
As you do.
Yeah.
I left my rollerblades back in 1993 too.
So she goes back for the rollerblades, and this is the first time that she thinks she sees Mr. Mortman becoming monstrous, right? So it's always like the description is like first his eyes kind of pop out, they become big and black, and they pop out of their sockets, and
They're
then
like doorknobs.
Yeah, and then his head bulges from his neck. He becomes just like this pustule of like this nightmarish fucking thing.
And he's eating flies too,
Yes.
right?
He's reaching into a jar. He's eating flies.
I was thinking he was Winnie the Poohing flies. Like, you know, Winnie the Pooh sticks his like mitt in and just like licks honey off his fist.
But I was also thinking like they're alive, because he's got like a thing, like a little tin of like frogs or turtles on his desk. Yeah. And they're not like flying away. He's managing to like open this jar. I'm like, that's pretty good.
I like him. Well, his hands are so wet, they just stick to it.
Yeah.
That's true.
But he does. He just scoops them in.
So I imagine, you guys ever watch Salad Fingers?
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen that, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the voice I picture for Mr. Mortman the whole time, where he's like, hello, my timid little friends.
That's fair.
So then he picks up the turtle, and she's like, well, she's going to feed, the monster's going to feed the turtle, the flies.
Makes sense.
Doesn't.
No.
Crunches that fucking turtle.
Chops down on turtles.
Yeah, ninja and a half shell.
Which was really dark.
Yeah.
But book could have been darker. Let's go back to that original fact. In the manuscript, Scholastic didn't like, R.L. Stine didn't have them eat turtles. He had them eating children.
Excuse me?
He was a librarian that instead of crunching through turtle shells, was eating children.
Okay.
Here's the thing. I think R.L. didn't have a lot of pull yet because this is book 9.
Right.
Because book 33, Horror at Camp Jelly Jam, nobody will remember this in 2 years when we get to that book. But there's a monster in the basement of like this cabin, and it eats kids. Yeah. So they allowed it eventually.
But also, it's like that's a big monster and the kids get eaten.
Yes.
This is just like a dude.
It's just
who
like
sits down and has to make a meal out of a child.
So this is I'm going to make a connection here. This is sort of like Rick Riordan, like he does all the Percy Jackson series, and I think in his first book, like everyone was kind of like cisgendered and like cool, and then like he started introducing like all these like trans and like gay characters, like LGBT. So like once you have that power, you can like do whatever you want with it. I like it.
That's great. I also didn't know that about that series. I have a very casual understanding of that series.
Cool.
Yeah.
I also think it doesn't really matter, but I feel like it's problematic because I make all these pedophile jokes just because he's so weird.
He's very strange.
But I also think they lean into, I would say Mr. Morton would be like a gay gentleman.
He could be. Yeah.
Just like his passions, how it lies, what he does, his like
he cares
mannerisms, his clothing.
Yeah.
Like he's very flamboyant. But he's very artistic and stuff too. Which I mean, it doesn't go that way. But even how they say how he always talks like thin-lipped and he's very effeminate. In many
it's
ways.
the description that RL ascribes
and
to.
you think about like most librarians, like even now, are women. Like I go to librarian conferences all the time, and it's
cosplay
like.
as?
But it's like 95% women.
Go as Mr. Mortman next time.
Oh my god, yes.
By the way, if anybody, there's a Mr. Mortman action figure out there. There's Goosebumps action figures. I collect toys. I would kill for them. I've been looking for them. If you can find them for me, I'll pay.
We'll tweet Dave's address out to all the fans.
Creepy
uncle.
You
want to send them?
CR33PY. Uncle, Twitter, Instagram. I need them.
Yeah, so that moment where like he turns into a monster was pretty scary because like she's alone in this library, this like creepy library. And the description of that library was pretty good, I think. Like it's like supposed to be haunted and all
the times where she was spying on Mr. Mortman, I feel like it was all tense for me because I was like, is she gonna get away?
Right.
And she was always alone. She was always trapped in there with him. So it's he really has the power in those.
Also, I think this is our most ambitious character that we've gotten so far in Goosebumps. Also, pretty crafty and smart.
Yes.
So what she does after that, when she sees him, she realizes that she still forgot her stuff and she needs to get her bag. So she returns again. She leaves. She walks back in, but makes a lot of noise opening the door.
Yeah.
and just acts like a kid walking in and being like, oh, I forgot my stuff, see ya. Like, just so it's not like she saw anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Very smart. But when she runs home, she talks to her parents, says there's a monster, which is what she says every day, and parents more or less just say fuck off.
Yeah.
Parents just don't understand.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Smart man. I think it was William Smith who said
that. She divulges this to her parents. They're, of course, not receptive to it. She wants to convince her friend Aaron for some reason, thinking he's going to be the linchpin in this whole thing. Like,
because
he was like the serious friend. Like, so if anyone's going to believe anyone, it's going to be him.
Right. So
it's the honest Abe of friendship.
So if Aaron can see this happen, he can convince her mom and dad, and they'll be on her side, and this will be somehow resolved.
But there was one thing standing in their way: Aaron's shitty teeth.
Yep.
Aaron had to go get braces.
Teeth,
He wasn't home. They made plans to go spy on Mr. Mortman, and Aaron had to go get his braces.
I was a little disappointed in Aaron at this point.
Yeah,
you know,
he was not very communicative.
No, she just showed up at his house thinking, like, because she waited all day. She was super excited to, get this happening, and then Aaron's just not there.
So Aaron, I feel like there's more to his story. I feel like Aaron always had this kind of somebody just kicked his dog attitude.
Yeah.
Like, he's outside. Like, what we see of Aaron, he shows up and he's just like, oh, hey, talking about monsters again. Then she scares him and he's just like, well, same shit. I guess I'm going home. Then the next time you see him, she's like, there's a monster. And he's outside playing with a Frisbee with an elastic band on it.
Oh, that's right.
To throw it back. And all it does
like
is
a single person Frisbee.
Yeah. Like, hey, dude, you need a friend for that? He's like, no.
And he's like, I'm fine. And then she comes back and he's still sitting outside just looking at it tangled, just staring into it. And he's like, this is my life. And then they're like, what do you have tomorrow? He's like, no, I should be free. Then his parents are like, wake up, surprise, you're getting braces. And he's like, oh, God damn it. And then she's like, hey, you fucked up. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'll do whatever. And then, like, he just has to be the friend. Because what they do is he's not there. She brings her camera. She got a sweet camera.
This is what I thought from the beginning. I was like, why convince Aaron? Just fucking take a picture.
Right.
But I thought about that too. And I was like, she gets a picture, snap a picture. Very different in 1993.
Yes.
True. And I didn't realize this until she realized it in the book that sound is going to be a problem.
The thing I will say is my wife still likes to do tangible physical photos, so we'll get disposable cameras.
This is our first episode without producer Chib next door on the couch, so
R.I.P. Chib.
We'll have to call her if we have to yell anything to her.
Yeah, she's fine.
Like we asked her last episode what girls do with jewelry, because we felt like Arlstein didn't know. We can ask you though, but
okay.
She was like, fingered the charms and jingled to them, and
the description was very
yeah, that's what creepy. We do. Yeah, for
just feel it in your hands.
Yeah.
You sit down, it's like, well, jewelry time. I just like touched everything.
But the photos now, when you want physical photos, you have to mail them out, and it takes a couple weeks for you to get them back. Where she can go to a 1 hour photo at the mall,
right?
And just get $17. It was like $17.99.
Yeah, which it's still about that price for like more time.
Yeah.
So it's if you want physical media, it is actually better in the past.
Yeah. But it would have been better if she just like popped out her fucking iPhone.
Yeah,
and just
right.
Snapped a picture of this goofy douche.
Maybe it doesn't matter either way, because when she lands on this plane to take a picture of Mr. Mortman, he actually doesn't show up in the photos at all.
Right.
Just to fast track this plot. They go to the mall and they like debate about Chinese food for an hour.
Can you remind me about this? Can you guys remind me about this at the end of the book? What we're talking about now with the camera. I have a really good idea to talk about after the book. Remind me about this. I'm going to write it down right here.
Got it.
You should, because I won't remember.
Photography. I wrote it real big.
For the listeners who wrote photography.
So she's so excited to go to get Chinese food. They 1 hour photo it. Photos are empty.
Yeah. And that was a frightening experience for Lucy. She just barely made it out of the library, so she hid in the stacks to take a picture of Mr. Mortman. She forgot that the flash was on.
The flash.
I knew it was coming too.
I thought it was just going to be the sound.
Have you ever taken a photo of somebody crazy on the subway or something, and the flash goes off, and you're like, "The fuck's going on?" I guess that was. Yeah, so she did that, but 90s version.
Yeah. But the flash was severe enough that his like protruding eyes were sensitive to it. So she got away. But still, nothing came of this. Eventually, she's able to recruit Aaron again. Mm-hmm. They follow Mr. Mortman home to his house and try to spy on him. And
he lives far away.
They live far away.
Like through a field.
Misleading though, because they like walk. I feel like R.L. Stine backtracked to the point where they're walking and you're like, there's not even houses anymore. Oh my God. Yeah. And now there's a field. And I was like, does this dude live in like a fucking ditch or a cave? And then they end up at a house. And then Aaron's just like, oh, my friend lives here. Like, you're like, oh, yeah. So you just walked to a different part of like, like, I've never walked past this block before.
And they fuck around with a wheelbarrow for half an hour.
It's like that scene in The Hobbit. No, one of the Lord of the Rings movies.
They're all the same.
It's like, this is the farthest I've ever walked before. If I take one more step or something like that.
Dramatic. I'll bet that was Samwise.
Yeah, probably.
Drama queen.
So let's talk about this house. The house is fine, and it's like a row of dandelions up front or some shit, or tulips. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's tiger lilies.
Tiger lilies. Yeah,
very nice.
It was a weird specific.
Is that funereal? Is that like a funeral flower?
Excuse me. Oh, okay. I was like, is that? I didn't know.
Funereal.
Yeah. Oh no, I got a funereal disease. I don't know. I don't think so. Tiger lilies? I don't believe so.
I think terminal illnesses should be renamed funereal diseases.
That's really good.
Is that insensitive?
I'd be like 6 Feet Under is my favorite funereal.
But yeah, it's fine. It looks like a normal house, but they flip over this wheelbarrow, or they don't flip it over. This is what bothers me.
Yeah,
she like stands in it, and
well, you get more height that way.
Do you?
You would have to stand on the wheel to get that height.
Can you just
I feel
stand on
like
the bottom?
if you flip it over and then you just stand on the bottom of the wheelbarrow.
Yeah, but the wheelbarrow part itself is only like a little bit. The reason the wheelbarrow is like the high heels part, the wheel and the little struts at the back.
Maybe I don't know what a wheelbarrow looks like.
We'll have to go buy one after this.
Maybe we're gonna have to. Well, Tiger Lilies is a real creepy band.
Oh no!
Oh no!
It's like a family of Babadooks.
It's a mime trio. So they flip over this wheelbarrow, or they don't flip it over. Lucy is peering in at Mr. Mortman. Mr. Mortman has an aquarium, and of course, right when you see that description, you know he's gonna fucking eat these fish.
By the way, tiger lilies are funereal flowers.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow, way to go,
catch.
RLS.
Good catch.
Way to go, RLS.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's an astute detail.
I love that, man.
I think I have tiger lilies in my backyard, actually.
Oh.
Well, it's because you're a monster.
Yeah.
All right.
Fact.
All the criteria met. You work at a library. You have tiger lilies.
There was also a time I spied on you through your window.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
With Jenna?
Yeah, that's right.
Nice. What'd you
this
see?
actually happened.
We had somebody else text her what she was doing. But somebody that would never know where she lived or anything.
It was terrifying.
Yeah, we were real
you were
drunk.
Lucy in this scenario.
We were real drunk, like Lucy. We were walking up and down streets, spray painting things onto sidewalks and kicking over garbage cans. It's because we had just watched the Nirvana documentary, the HBO one that wasn't great.
Oh,
and
Montage
we were just like,
of
yo,
Heck.
he fucked up everything. Yeah, so we finished watching like half of Montage of Heck, and we were like, we just need to fuck shit up. And we just went around fucking shit up. We're like, we'll say hi to Jackie. Anyway, so
They say you made a fish.
Yeah, he ate some fish.
Eats a little fishy.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
and a snail.
Oh yeah,
Because I remember that
eel
crunch.
Oh, I forgot about that.
He sucks down an eel like spaghetti.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. The crunch does stick with me though. That's a very that's a sensory detail that you don't forget.
Yep. Yeah, and I don't think Lucy forgot that either.
There's a lot of good onomatopoeia.
Oh,
I just want to say that.
But Lucy falls off like a fucking idiot.
Synesthesia.
Right.
Oh, nice.
I'm thinking back to AP Language and Composition.
Ah, yes. Affleck. So
she falls off and Aaron is gone.
Aaron's gone. Also, she makes a ton of noise.
Yeah, of
She
course.
makes sure to like scream and punch the window. The glass breaks.
Yeah. She falls and she's like, the fuck?
Farts the loudest she's ever farted.
And I feel like she like breaks her rib from like her description of like her injury after this. It sounds like she probably has like internal bleeding going
seems
on.
Severe, yeah. But Mr. Mortman obviously hears this. He comes outside, grabs her by the shoulder. Mm-hmm. Then
real strong.
Kills her. The book.
Yep, that's it.
She's dead. Mr. Mormon eats her, puts her in the aquarium first.
But we know that Scholastic doesn't like when kids get eaten, so he had to shove 18 turtles up her asshole. Then he ate her, and it was fine.
Sucked the turtles through her mouth into his body, and then ate her.
Yeah.
Fatality. So that's a good finisher.
It's really good. Mortal Kombat 11, it's coming out.
She gets caught. And just has to make something up, right? So she does pretty well for like a child that gets
like,
caught in a lie.
She's like, I'll play the innocent child shit. I'm like, you maniacal fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did she say? She tells him that she had to let him know she was going to be late for reading rangers.
Yeah. She was like in the neighborhood.
Hey, I figured out where you lived creepily and I'm spying on you in the window again. Yeah. So, also, he knows that people have been spying on him. Yeah. But isn't sure it's her. But she's also playing this like long con where she's like, you think monsters exist? And he's like, no, why would they?
Yeah, like
she's
trying to get his reaction.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Would you
super
know
smart.
a monster? And he's like, I don't, what?
Mr. Monster, I mean Mortman.
Yeah.
So... so he's wise to her. She has to go back. This is the terror, is that she has to go back and see him for Reading Rangers shit.
Before you move on, there is one part. So he was like, it's dark. You should call your parents to come pick you up.
Yes.
Come into my house.
Yes.
And I thought this was really smart of her.
Very Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah. She's like, I'm not going into your house, you creepy old man.
Yeah.
And she runs away. And I was like, good for you.
Yeah.
He was pressing. He's like, just a phone call. Just call her in my house.
It's just in the living room. You don't even have to go that far in my house.
You live far away. Oh, also, we forgot an important plot point where the second time she goes and spies with the camera, she gets home and mom and dad are out food shopping, which they do every fucking day apparently.
Yeah.
And ring at the doorbell. It's Mr. Mortman.
That's right.
And he says, hey, is this your shit? You forgot your backpack.
Yep.
Yeah, that was early on.
He knew that she knew there was a trading of knowing.
Yes. Yeah.
So he's on her case, and it's they're back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
But the nail in the proverbial coffin is they're the proverbial nail in the coffin. What do you guys think?
Proverbs, verse 3, section 5. Mr. Mortman, with his tiny lips, said timid frat. They run away. Cool thing though is oh wait, no, that's the next day. I forgot. I was getting ahead of myself with my errand.
Calm down.
I can't. Jackie's here. I'm having a blast.
No, I can't.
I'm having a blast.
It's cute.
It's fun. So she is forced to go to Reading Rangers the next day?
Yes. Her parents say, we don't give a shit if he's a monster, as you say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fuck off and go.
Yeah.
And this is one of the few times that I 100% believe that I see myself in Lucy. Okay. We also realize I do this a lot on this podcast where I just start talking and making up beginning of a sentence while I'm thinking what I actually say. I was like, Lucy's interesting. Lucy, this isn't my good writing, but I want to talk about this. I used to think like this as a kid when they'd be like, go do this. And I'd be like, oh, it's going to be fucking awful. And they're like, no, go do it. And I'm like, well, I hope it fucking goes awful so you guys fuck you.
Yes.
There's a point where he says, I was so furious at my mom for forcing me to come here. I hope he turns into a monster and chews me to bits, I thought bitterly. Yeah. That will really teach mom a lesson. Yep. I pictured mom and dad and Randy sitting mournfully in our living room, crying their eyes out, wailing, if only we had believed her. If only we listened.
I think, that's like there's a good juxtaposition because there's an earlier scene where with the photographs.
Yes, I wanted to talk about this.
Where they're like, they're gonna believe me now because I have the photographic evidence. Yep. My dad's gonna buy me this computer that
I wrote it down.
They're gonna put me on their shoulders and carry me around like a queen. It kept evolving.
Okay.
Right.
It makes me think of that scene from A Christmas Story.
Yes.
And I do this all the time because of that. When someone's like, hey, Dave, or people clap, I do this.
Yeah, when he's in the classroom.
And they put him up on their shoulders because he wanted the coolest thing for Christmas.
Yeah, he wrote the thing about the Red Ryder BB gun.
But as kids, we all thought that way.
Absolutely.
I did.
They'll really celebrate me when I do this innocuous thing that no one thinks about.
Yeah, and I'm like, and then Mom and Dad they'll let me get the A-Wing at Toys R Us. And it comes with the one A-Wing pilot, and it's dope.
It's cool. It's
good Star Wars action figures. Yeah. It's awesome. So she gets in there. She starts doing her little Rita Rangers, and there's a lot of people there, and then there's not.
No.
All of a sudden, she realizes she's alone.
Of course, it's just she and Mr. Mormon.
It's weird to me that he is the only librarian in this
entire
institution.
Yeah. Really cutting budgets.
Yeah. It's pretty accurate.
What's the something Falls? Where do they live?
Timberland Falls.
Yeah.
Which in the beginning I hated her because she's like, it's Timberland Falls and there's forests here, but no timber and nothing ever falls. I was like, all right, dude.
Relax.
I grew up in Wayne. My dad's name is Wayne, so should I justify living there now?
Whoa, was he the mayor?
He probably is. He is the town. I live in him. So
he locks the door and they're alone.
And she's like, I know your shit.
I know what you did last summer.
Yeah. So he's gonna fucking purge her ass.
Mm-hmm.
And this is my favorite part.
Yes.
This is my favorite part, and hats off to you, R.L. Stein. I love you. Jackie, please explain this. I think you'll understand the best.
Yeah, so this is probably the most accurate part of this entire book. She is running through the library trying to escape. She knows the door is locked. She knows she has to get away from him. And she runs blindly headlong into the card catalog.
Disaster.
The card catalog topples over, drawers come sliding out, cards spilling at her feet, scattering all over the floor. And this is Mr. Mortman's deadly weakness because he has to immediately stop to pick up all these scattered cards.
Yeah. In my notes, I wrote, Mr. Mortman is a librarian first, a monster second.
Yeah.
And they basically say that in the next paragraph. R.L. Stein says, wow, I guess he's more a librarian than monster.
Yeah.
Which is so good.
This reminded me, we just watched, my wife and I just watched, we're in season 5 of The X-Files. Mm-hmm. This is my first time watching the whole series.
It's such a blast.
And there's an episode about vampires. Mm-hmm. And Mulder's thing is he's like, if you spread seeds around or it's some small objects, vampires can't handle it. They have to go through and pick them up.
Right. That's
Mulder gets poisoned at one point and he's or drugged so that the vampire can kill him. And Mulder haphazardly throws sunflower seeds all over as he's passing out. And the vampire is like, ooh, he's like, I'm going to kill you when I'm done with this. And it's so funny.
Yeah.
But it reminded me of this. It's monsters can't handle it. They have obsessive compulsive disorder.
Right. Yeah.
I love that.
It's not a laughing matter.
So now I'm wondering, because we don't have card catalogs in most libraries at this point anymore.
So if you were chasing me and I needed you to stop, what would I do?
I guess the only other thing would be to knock over an entire shelf of books and then I'd have to pick them up. But there's no equivalent to the card catalog.
I just want to tell all the kids listening what they can do. So stop your Fortnite dance and just knock some books over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if you can't, you don't have the strength to knock over the shelves, just run your arm along the shelf and knock all the books off. Yeah, that's it.
So she gets away, and she was not alone in the library, was she?
No, that's right.
Aaron's a hero. Aaron decided, you know what? I'm not going to make that $5. I got my shitty braces. I've just been a bad friend. Mm-hmm. I'm going to sit there. He pops outside with her. I'm going to tell your parents, and they do.
Mm-hmm. And, of course, they believe Aaron, not their own child. They believe Aaron.
Right.
But we learned from the beginning of the book, Lucy's full of shit.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But I also feel if I were Lucy, my parents wouldn't believe my friends either.
Yeah. The prophecy played itself out. Because Lucy was they'll believe Aaron. And I was like, this is fucking stupid. And then Aaron told them and they believed it. And I was it
shit.
works.
Okay.
I don't know. That's fine then.
Yeah. So once your parents believe that there's a monster, what would they do?
Invite them over for dinner, of course.
Obviously.
Duh.
And
that's what happened.
That's what happened. So the book ends. There's 6 pages at the end of the book. We're we're inviting him over for dinner. And even reading, I was just what are you playing at here?
The twist is 2 pages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he comes over and he's awkward. She's awkward.
Mm-hmm. Everyone's awkward.
And the parents are just kind of hanging out.
Mortman is wet, leaving a trail of
slime trail
behind him.
He's eating their cheese and he's loving it. Yeah. And then he asks the fateful question. So what's for dinner?
What's for dinner, baby?
It's him.
It's him.
Guys, it's him.
You're for dinner.
Then the parents transform into vampires.
Yes. And
devour him, including his bones. They need to be like, yeah, they ate all of them, including his bones.
They pass the bones.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm trying to remember, is this like this twist like something that happens in all Goosebumps books? Because I was reading this and I was like, what the fuck?
So we were talking about this before you got here, that when we first did this podcast, Matt had listened to everything, or had read everything up to this point.
Yes,
this is your first
1 through 7. This was exciting for me because I went into this cold. I read this as a kid, but this is the first time. But yeah, 1 through 7, I was rereading. I read them all like 4 months ago.
Okay.
Rereading before the podcast.
But I had not read. The last one I read was the first book, Welcome to Dead House, and I read that like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, something like that. On a summer vacation, I just decided to pick up a book. But originally, I thought every single Goosebumps book ended like this. I thought everyone was just being like, and I would have been scared if I wasn't a ghost.
Yeah.
But in reality, so the parents are vampires and they devour him, and they're like, yeah. Once we learned there's a monster here, we had to kill him because
we can be the only monsters.
Yeah, if you find out that he's a monster, then other people are gonna find out that monsters exist because he's lazy. So we had to fucking kill him.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I can't wait till I get my fangs so I can murder. And then the little kid, fucking Randy Dark, he's just like, I can't wait till I can get a boner so I can fuck like you, Dad. And he's just like, wait till you're older. But he's like, I'm only scared because I don't have fangs.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And that was... Lucy seemed exceptionally terrified for someone with the knowledge that she is also a monster.
Right?
But it really informs the beginning of the book. The point where she's obsessed with monsters and makes up all these stories and is able to scare her brother. I'm like, why does her brother believe this bullshit all the time? It's because they both know that monsters really exist.
Right.
And I guess even like their descriptions, like the pale and the dark hair, like it all makes sense.
Well, that's why I wrote in the beginning that I was like, probably a ghost. Because they're both like straight black hair and the whole family's pale. I'm like, you're a ghost.
Yeah.
But this is what I want to remember after.
Okay.
Parents bought her a really nice camera for her birthday that year.
Right.
You're vampires. You can't take pictures of yourselves.
Right.
Gotcha, RLS. Gotcha.
So I know that she took pictures of Randy's birthday party.
Yeah.
And she mentioned like all his friends showing up in the pictures. Did Randy show up? And if he did, is it only because he's not a fully formed vampire yet?
Also, are you like stillborn if you're a vampire because your parents are dead? Are you
in
dead?
Twilight, this was a thing because there was a birth between a human and a vampire.
But these are vampire births. They're
That's true.
Bumping uglies.
That shouldn't even be biologically possible.
But are they vampire? They don't say explicitly they're vampires.
Also
because they're also outside a bunch and they eat someone whole. They don't suck their blood.
Yeah, they just mentioned fangs.
They said they were vampires.
They mentioned fangs specifically, but they don't say that they're vampires.
I think they're monstars.
Very good.
Yeah, this is it's literally like 4 pages where all this happens.
Yes, it's insane. It's really they just grow fangs and they eat Mr. Mortman. That's really all we know.
Yeah, like the whole thing is, okay, what's for dinner? You are. Mr. Mortman lets out a little cry. He's like tries to run away. They both pounce on him. Their fangs pop down, and they gobble the librarian up in less than a minute. Bones and all.
Yeah.
This all happens in a page and a
half.
half.
As Randy laughs gleefully on the side there.
Yeah.
I love that Randy's scared. You can be like, hey, Randy, you know that toilet will lick your asshole when you're not looking. And he'll be like, whoa. But like his parents eat some guy's bones and he's like giggling.
Yeah.
Creepy ending.
But he doesn't like a story about toes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Aaron's just in the corner shitting his pants.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's the book.
That's it.
The end.
So usually now we talk about the writing.
The writing, what was good and what was bad.
We're at hour and 10 minutes. Which is fine. But
it's fine. Is there anything exceptionally
There was one line in this entire... Yeah. It's page 17. I think this is right after Lucy scared her brother, and she just got a talking to. And her mom says, "Your dad thinks his monster obsession is just a phase you're going through, but I'm not so sure." And Lucy goes, "Life is just a phase I'm going through."
Yes.
I love that so much.
It's very true to an angsty teen.
Do you have anything that I had a lot that I liked in this book, actually.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of good description. I have a lot of, like, minutia, but I like the eeriness of every time she goes back for something, when she forgets something, when she forgets the rollerblades. Mm-hmm. I think how the way it's overcast, it's always, like, raining, it's quiet, it's desolate.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of spooky moments.
A lot of personification of the library.
Yeah.
I realize as well. I like that. My thing is, I think that Lucy is actually inspired by Lucy from Peanuts.
Oh, yeah?
And how she treats people, and how she yells at everybody, and how she wants people to believe in her stuff.
Yeah.
And this line actually got me there. I'm a big Peanuts fan, for people who don't know. I've been reading from the series on. I've been going crazy. So said I counted on Aaron, and all this while he had a stupid orthodontist appointment. "I hope your braces really hurt," I shouted out loud. I kicked a small rock across the sidewalk. I felt like kicking a lot of rocks. I felt like kicking Aaron. It's such a Lucy thing where your friend's not even there, and she just yells into the air like, "I hope your braces hurt." So I thought that really made me smile. And just that Lucy is a name we haven't gotten yet, and it fit.
Yeah.
And the really scared, kind of like timid brother, like she has the lioness back at home.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, what's good is there's a lot of her personality in this book, but then there's also RL's storytelling, and he does it masterfully and shifting back and forth. Just in the first chapter, it starts with these simple statements like you were saying, Dave, like, I don't know why it's called Timberland Falls. There are a few forests out of town, but no one cuts any of the trees down for timber, and there aren't any falls. My name is Lucy Dark. I'm 12. I live with my brother, Randy. It's like very short, stupid sentences. Yeah. And by the end, it's like Randy uttered a deafening scream when he saw what I was pointing at. It's like, you know, but it takes its time to get there, and he does what he has to do, and it works. We don't notice.
Anything bad, Jackie? Anything you didn't like?
Anything I didn't like.
There's some things that we no longer discuss anymore because we get it every book.
Okay.
Fragments. There's like one whole page where he only uses fragments. Page 49 is 95% fragments. There's only one actual sentence on it.
I didn't even notice that. I think I was just so caught up in this story.
Nice. He accomplished
my
what he
neck
meant
was
to.
stiff. My back ached. No, yeah. Okay, I see what you mean here.
Yeah, the library was empty, period, except for Mr. Mortman, period. I waited, period, and listened, period. I heard the script. It's showtime, explanation. Boy, I thought, period. He's closing up now, period. Now it's time, period. Now's the time he'll turn into a monster. It's just that we get a lot.
Choppy sentences.
We get those choppy sentences.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't like, he got lazy with some of his descriptions.
Yeah.
At one point, he described the sky as yellow-black. Yellow hyphen black, and then another point he called the sky sunset purple while the sun was going down.
Right, it's like a
come on, dude.
Yeah.
If he said
color.
if he said it was purple, no, but you don't call the sunset like the sky. The sun was going down in the sky. It looked like a sunset. Like it was just he's so much better and has been so much better before this that I know he can do better, and he's done so much better that. Yeah.
Can you guys turn to page 92?
Yeah. I have it written down here too.
So I want to talk about his gaping mouth, drooling green liquid twisted into an O of surprise. Will you tell me what the O looks like? Does it match the other font?
That's not that's like a symbol he used.
Yeah.
It's wild.
It's wild because this is not the first time we've gotten an O of surprise.
But it was never like
lips
this.
Became an O of surprise.
Yeah, that is not the letter O.
Yeah.
It looks like he went into Wingdings and found the circuits.
Yeah.
Shocking. He went to like the second to last page in emojis and found the O. Yeah. Cool. I just wanted to know that.
Cool.
One thing, I don't think this is like bad. Actually, it's pretty accurate. When Lucy's describing the reading rangers, and she's like, she describes like the whole process. You get 6 gold stars, you get a prize. But she says, but it's just a way to make you read. And I'm like, that's actually pretty accurate. And I had this like moment where I was like, yeah, that's my job.
Yeah. And that's great too, because we've talked about on this podcast that RL has famously said his goal with making this series is like, there's not really a moral in many of these stories. It's just a way to make kids read, and it worked.
Yep.
So that's great.
All right. We're going to move on to our final segment. Actually, this is a long one, so maybe we'll wait on the murders.
Okay, sure.
We'll murder someone next time.
Yeah.
So this is our Spooks and Scares.
Spooks and Scares. Best dressed.
And
alternate title.
Okay.
So that is to say, you have to give us your top spooky scare,
Okay.
best dressed character,
Okay.
and an alternate title.
An alternate
Now, to take the pressure off of you, we usually come up with like 2 out of 3 of these on the spot.
Okay.
And one of Matt's is always very dirty. The alternate title.
Yeah. Yes. Although, yeah. And I don't have one written down, so you never know.
Okay.
I didn't write down any for my... I never really write down...
Yeah. I've written down 1 or 2. But...
Yeah. So you want to start off our Spooks and Scares?
Spooks and Scares. I mean, it's so hard because all those moments like in the library,
Yes.
Yeah.
like
I would draw
it's
from those
so
as well.
hard to pick from one of those. I would say, I think the one where she goes in there with the camera, is probably the scariest because I knew from the beginning like the sound or something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
He's gonna know that she's there. I didn't anticipate the flash though, which was like an added bonus, and I definitely didn't anticipate that it would mess with his eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
So I think that's my scene.
Nice.
Mine was also a library scene. It was when he first eats the turtles. I had a turtle. Rest in peace, MC Koopa Crabhammer.
Oh,
Remember
yeah.
him? He lived David Swimmer was yours. He had,
My fish. Yeah.
Yeah, Alan Finsberg and Zumacroon. He lived.
Yeah.
Just the sound, the crunch of the turtle shells as Mr. Mortman chewed it alive.
Horrible.
And I also like that he called them timid friends. Just how he's called like my timid friends. And
That's so creepy.
There's a great description when she's looking through the window through the thing, and she's like, he held onto the fish. I saw his mouth moving. He sang, and I'm like, shit. He just wrote that he sang his death phrase where he's like, hello, my timid friend.
Right.
And he like eats them again. Real creepy, really awesome. So
It is.
Timid Friends is my favorite, and then the crunches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would go with when Mr. Mortman knows for sure and locks Lucy in the library with him.
Yeah.
Just the fact that he says, I know everything. And this is an RL thing where often the villain will say, I'm so sorry, but I have to kill you now.
Right.
So dope.
And that happens here. I can't let you leave.
Right.
No,
So she's
it's just the
powerless.
nature of the monster at that point.
Yeah.
All right, Jackie, best dressed. Do you have one?
I mean,
There's only one option in this book.
it's Mr. Mortman,
It's
right?
Mr. Mortman. But what's your favorite outfit?
So I was trying to find this like as we sat down, and I don't know where it is, but he was wearing like a lime green jump off at some point. That was like,
It looked like a Ghostbuster.
it was like a lime green jacket and like a yellow.
It was like a sport
shirt.
shirt.
What is
Yeah.
a sport shirt?
I think it's like a polo, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
Which is insane because, like, no, right? What sport? Golf? You wear a polo?
guess.
That's it? The least sport.
If you're like a coach for a football team,
Yeah.
maybe? Like,
if you're into standing.
I want to say that he was wearing that during, like, when he got eaten. But
Yeah.
I don't fully remember, actually.
Matt?
I would say there's 2 options for
Mine's
best
page
dress.
43. I'm gonna say I'm on Mr. Mortman, so I'm gonna
So
continue
do it,
that. He was wearing another turtleneck. I just love the turtlenecks. Got the 8 turtles, real silly. A bright yellow one this time.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I noticed he wore a big purple ring on one of his pudgy fingers. He swirled the ring as he smiled.
I mean, that was definitely a ring pop, right?
Yeah.
I also I don't know why this makes it worse in my head, but I imagine it to be on his pinky.
Oh yeah. Also, I imagine he had a big fupa. Right, like
Of
those
course.
pants where he's got like the big.
You mean a fuda?
What's a fuda?
Upper dick area.
I don't know what he's got.
Not an upper pussy.
A gunt, as my boss calls it. He said fupa, and he's like, I don't understand. He calls people that have that area a gunt.
There's like in college, we got into a debate
gut.
with Devin because we thought it was a queef and he said it was a vart.
Yeah. It's both now because they're both funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, who's your best dress?
My best dressed is page 77. No shirt, Bert.
Oh, I was going to say that too. He's just a teen.
Finally, after a long wait,
Oh my god.
Aaron's teenage brother, Bert, pulled open the door. He had on blue denim shorts and no shirt. Hi, he said, scratching his chest. You looking for Aaron?
That's a good one.
Amazing. No shirt Bert is my guy. He's definitely like, he's got like a bench press set up behind him that
Yeah.
has like 10s on it. and he's listening to Guns N' Roses.
It's funny.
He's just like, hey kid, you got any squeezes? It'd be much cooler if you did.
Yeah.
Because, like, remember, it's summertime. And,
Yeah.
like, I feel like that might be the only moment where, like, you get, like, oh, it's hot out.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Mr. Morton's wearing fucking turtlenecks.
Yeah.
And
walks
also
to
Bert's
work.
inside.
But he walks to work.
Yeah. So, but I thought that was very funny.
Yeah. So,
Alternate title, babies.
go for it.
I have to think about this. You guys go first.
Okay. Totally chitty turtle taster book.
I'm kind of like, I don't have anything.
Bert's Opus.
Teenage nipples.
There you go. Yeah.
Bert's tail.
A Bert's Tale.
I feel like this is actually a perfect title. Like, it doesn't spoil anything for you. I wouldn't have known that this is about a librarian.
Yeah.
Just picking this up.
You wouldn't change a thing.
I wouldn't change a thing.
Well done, RL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's got the librarian stamp of approval.
Whoa.
Amazing.
That's like the greatest award we've won so far in this podcast.
Very cool.
I think something about late fees.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Late fees or...
Microfish. More like micro turtles.
Yeah.
Did we talk about that? The microfiche thing?
Yes, we did.
We did.
Yes, we
Okay.
did. Microfiche. They edited it out. So how about yours?
The alternate title?
Yeah, you have to do the one you always do. You got one?
Oh, I don't actually. The guy who...
How about the dong who cried slobster?
Perfect. Thank you, Dave.
There.
You saved me.
Well, yeah, that peaked. I punched my microphone.
That's what
All
we
right.
like.
So we'll wait. Send in your 5-star reviews. We're a little light on them right now because apparently we're not that good. But this podcast deserved
Leave a
it.
comment. Well, I think we have a lot of reviews, but not a lot of like people who wrote something.
We have people who wrote 5 stars, but if you write, we'll be able to see your name, and that's when. Or if you did, just put it in there or send us a message. We'd love to kill you in a Goosebumps fashion.
Yeah, that's true. If you just want to do 5 stars, just let us know that you did that, and we'll kill you.
So what we do, Jackie, is we when someone comments, gives us 5 stars, we each say how they died.
Cool. I
In
want to do
Goosebumps.
this now.
Yeah.
And we make it up on the spot. So
We make it up on the
Nice.
spot. You
Hit
just
or
say how
miss.
they would die. Yeah.
hit or miss.
But so we're almost at an hour and a half. This is an extra long one, which is
Hey,
fine.
that's fine.
Hey, it happens sometimes when you have great guests.
Can
right.
I plug libraries real quick?
Please,
I would love
Jackie.
that.
Take this time to plug whatever you'd like.
So you should all definitely start going to libraries, get a library card. There's like programs and like free shit all the time. You can like get ebooks and get like I'm trying to think of what else we offer. Learn a language, watch like TV shows and movies on Hoopla. Like libraries have all this shit. Go to your libraries.
Yeah, and the card is free, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So all you need is like a name and an
Yeah.
email
you like,
address or something.
have like your ID on you just in case they ask for it. If you as long as you live in the town that your library is in,
Perfect.
It's free.
No reason not to do it.
Absolutely.
I'm actually going to check out my library here.
Same. I have no excuse. I live behind one.
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
you're right next. You
Yeah.
basically share a parking lot with
I
it.
donated a bunch of stuff to the library, but I don't have an account there. So, pot, kettle, black.
Yeah.
I have to go.
I have to find mine. My town's mostly graveyard, so I imagine it's going to be a real spooky. Yeah, this town has more dead people than living people in it.
Nice.
And it's like 60% graveyard.
Wow.
Cool.
So my library is going to be fucking sick.
So haunted.
I'm ready to go. All right.
Ooh, another alternate title. It's not workshopped. Something with Turtle from Entourage. I'll think about it. Next
think about
episode. So that's it for us, Jackie. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us.
Thank you for having. This was so fun. I
Where
love
can we
this.
reach you online if you want to be reached?
If you don't, just say hard pass.
My Twitter is all pretty much like hockey stuff.
Oh, yeah. We tweet at each other.
I don't really. Yeah, it's Sir_NILS_. And that's after Sir Niels Olav, the penguin, who's like like a sergeant in like the Norwegian army or something like that. I don't remember
Hell
exactly.
yeah.
That is very cute. Well, if you want to reach out to, we're Call Creeps Pod on Instagram. We've been putting a lot of memes up.
Yeah, we're very active on the Insta, so
yes, we are.
That's the best place to reach us.
We basically, if you just want an update, Twitter, we just put it on there if there's a new episode or something. Yeah. But hit us up on Instagram. You can find our individual accounts there as well. And like I said, 5-star reviews. I'd love to murder you.
Yeah, let us murder you. What are you afraid of, you coward?
All right. I'm not going to call you a pussy, but I am going to say goodbye and make you think about it.
Dave's not going to call you a pussy butt.
But it's...
Bye.
Bye.